Hi there, hope you're having a pleasant day wherever you may be. Today I find myself at the first motel in the world, but judging from the looks of it, it'll never be the last. I'm at the Motel Inn in San Luis Obispo. The Motel Inn, or what's left of it at least, is located just off of US 101 in San Luis Obispo. Now, this one's going to be a quick one because there's obviously not much to look at here, but the Motel Inn, formerly known as the Milestone Motel, is the first motel in existence in the world. In 1925, a gentleman named Arthur Heinemann realized that there was really no suitable lodging for people traveling by car, which was an up-and-coming mode of transport. Hotels were often in city centers and not really dispersed along routes. People would have to sleep in their cars or pitch tents or things like that. So he came up with the idea of a motel. A motel would be sort of car-centric. A weary traveler could pull off to one of these, park right next to their room, and spend the night with a bathroom and a shower and things like that, as opposed to having to sleep in the car or camp. He chose this location because it roughly represented the halfway point between San Francisco and Los Angeles, and because of the San Luis Obispo area, he chose the sort of mission theme to kind of go along with the town here. Ultimately, his goal was to ambitiously open up a really big chain of these, but as far as I know, I think this is the only one that got off the ground. Unfortunately, after 1925, the Great Depression hit. That kind of squashed any plans he had for expanding. However, the concept of motels obviously took off because nowadays motels are very common. You see them everywhere in every town. Eventually, the name was changed to Motel Inn, and that's how it stayed until 1991 when it was demolished, leaving just these couple of remnants. As you can see, the 101 is right here. People drive by it every day, probably don't even realize that they're driving by this little nugget of history. So, well, that does it for this one. Thanks for joining me on this really short video about the world's first motel. Hope you found it interesting, hope you found it informative, and maybe it'll encourage you to come check it out yourself. Until then, I guess I'll see you on the next one. Hey, look at that. It looks like they just had a hearing a couple days ago, August 10th, about reviving the old gal. That's pretty cool.